Okay, hi. This is Ed again, and it's May the 12th, 2020. So, no matter if you're watching this within days of when I make it or in the future, sometimes you realize we are in the middle of this crazy pandemic issue. And here in Mexico, the fear and the problems are alive and well. But what I'm going to talk about today is only loosely related to that. Maybe. I really want to talk about the problem with social media. Okay, I'll just charge into it. Very recently, a friend told my wife, and this friend is very involved in social media. That's where she gets all her information. She told me she told my wife that in the United States was banning or making a law against abortion. Now, I immediately jumped on that and I basically said bullshit, although there's some truth in it. What's happening is the anti-abortion camp is not totally, but largely driven by religion. And so religion is desperately, what they call themselves the pro-life side of this abortion issue. And what they're trying to do is get abortion outlawed because they call it murdering babies. That's the terminology they use, which is totally unscientific and everything. Anyway, the point is, this person said that she found out, she didn't even say what the source was or anything, but she found out the United States, they're making laws, a law that's going to ban abortion, or that does ban abortion. I think she said the law had already been made. Well, I didn't clue into that for a little while, but I have been following this argument for a long time. It's part of the narrative, which partly because, not totally, because skeptical people like myself I'm pro-abortion, I'll use that term with air quotes, because I'm pro-women's rights, especially women's productive rights, all women's rights actually, but especially that. And I think that's what it's about. The anti-abortion folks are trying to take women's rights away from them. If a woman gets pregnant, she doesn't want to get pregnant, I think she has the rights to do something about that. Anyway, but this rumor, this fact that this woman had told my wife, abortion has been outlawed in the United States, is a lie. What I discovered was, the truth was that there was one state, one Bible belt buckle state, where, maybe, I don't know which one it was, Tennessee or Oklahoma or Mississippi, one of those, had pushed it through right to the Supreme Court level, and indeed they didn't make abortion absolutely illegal, but almost close to illegal but the problem is abortion rights laws are state laws, and they have to be passed state by state, and different abortion laws exist in different states. So this rumor was, the United States is making it illegal, was false. It was based on the fact that I think one state had, and this was some time ago, nothing to do with this pandemic we're involved in, but one state had indeed technically outlawed abortion. Okay, the problem is that rumor, it was passed around on social media from the one news story about a state had, made it illegal, and maybe the Supreme Court was supporting them. So it could happen eventually that all states or many states will change their laws about abortion. Okay, anyway, that's one thing. Here's another thing. I was already telling Jose Luis about this story. Glenda and I were looking at, we wanted, okay, real updates on what the hell's going on in this pandemic in the world, because you keep hearing this story, thousands are dying, millions are dying. So we're looking at this thing, and it came to one line, and I think this information had come from, apparently reliable source, and it was like ticker tape, just basic information. And this one line came to it, said, the first person under 25 to die of the virus has died somewhere. Okay, so now I imagine the social media junkie is going, somebody under 25, people under 25 are dying from the COVID 2019. Then the next line says, the victim was a 2-year-old child. Oh my God, children are dying of the COVID disease also, right? Now, maybe she doesn't, this person, I gave it away, it's a she, okay, it doesn't matter, he or she. Maybe they read the next line or maybe they don't, but the very next line points out that this 2-year-old child, under 25, that died from the disease was a Down syndrome child with congenital heart disease. Now, it doesn't make the story any better. A 2-year-old died, and that's sad. The point is, this particular 2-year-old was not going to live long anyway. Down syndrome children do not have good life expectancies, period. And one with congenital heart disease is going to take a lot of work to get them to puberty even, to many years. The point is, there is a story. Now the story is in the social media that people under 25 do die from the disease, and babies do die from the disease. Okay? So that's my whole point, that there's some information that was accurate information. Nobody told any lies, but this story went from a 2-year-old with Down syndrome and congenital heart disease died from the virus to people under 25 are dying from the virus and babies are dying from the virus. That's the whole point of the problems with getting your information from social media. So that's a problem. Now recently, I just heard another story. Well, here's the story. This person says, social media news, a woman with the virus, not the COVID-19 and or the virus, it has all these magic names. It's not just influenza like all the other influenzas. It's a virus and it's got a horrible sounding name, COVID-19, which means COVID. I don't need another word for virus, I guess. And it was first discovered in the year 2019, so it's COVID-19. Anyway, so this woman has the COVID and she's pregnant, and she is 9 months pregnant. She gives birth to a baby. This is the story, just wherever the story came from, not a news story. Pregnant woman gives birth to a baby. The baby is perfectly healthy, no problems, but the woman dies. Now, the rest of the story is, I think, goes, isn't God wonderful? You know, there's a woman with the COVID, but she gave birth to a baby, and God took care of the baby. The baby is fine. I look at that story and I go, what the hell kind of bullshit is this? God killed a woman. What reason? He's God. He could have chose. So he chose this woman dies, and he chose that a baby would be born with no mother and have to live its life with no mother. And that's a good story? As far as I'm concerned, if the story's true, God's a dick on 2 counts. Why did he kill the woman, and why did he leave a baby with no mother? I don't see how the story can fly. I don't even know if it's a true story, but it's a story being passed around, which reminds me so much of the kind of stories we've all heard. The plane crash somewhere, 159 killed, and 1 baby survives. All the religious folks are going, oh, look at that, God saved that baby. What? God killed 159 freaking people and left a baby without, probably, if the parents are on the same plane, with no parents or anything. And somehow the religious mind turns that somehow into a good story. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, when you hear religious stories, that's the way they always goes. Isn't God wonderful? As far as I'm concerned, the plane with 160 people crashes. Number one, why the hell did God crash that plane with 156 people, or 160 people? Did God decide, well, 159 of them are bad people, but the baby's okay, so I'm going to crash the plane and kill 159 people, but keep the baby alive, because I kind of like the baby. If that's your God, and it actually exists, you can have it. I don't want it. Anyway, my rant was mostly about the problems that, well, Jose Luis and I we were talking about this this whole issue. We had our discussion in Spanish, because Jose doesn't speak too much English. He speaks a little bit of English. So I had to switch into English to do this bit. But anyway, that's my rant against, what am I ranting against? Bad information, I guess, and especially being passed around through social media. People do not check their facts, and so sometimes they just take the headline of a story, which was the thing that Jose was talking about before we started making this video. The headline, person under 25 dies from the COVID thing. People are dying, under 25 are dying. It's not only people who are, who are susceptible, you know, people who have serious heart issues, people who have lung diseases, emphysema, or whatever kind of lung diseases, people who are elderly, especially elderly and problems, or people maybe who smoke 3 packages of cigarettes a day. If you're a heavy-duty smoker and you get the damn disease, you're damn right it can be bad for you, including killing you. You've compromised, that's the word, compromised your lungs so badly by smoking that this disease, which part of it's like all flus, part of the thing is that it attacks your lungs. Sure, if you're a smoker, maybe one good thing will come out of this is people are going to realize smoking is a really bad idea, as if we didn't have enough information already, and decide to quit smoking. Anyway, it's going on. I start rambling, sort of thing, which I love to do, as you know. But anyway, that's all for today. I want to remind you that this is the 12th of May, 2020. We're in the middle of this pandemic, and let's hope the hell we ease our way out of it, get back to some kind of sensible living soon. But I'm Ed again, and this is Atheist, a Bird with No Cage. Thanks for listening, if anybody's listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.